Horse was almost clear of lane, but got a little bit loose and unfortunately had to give the spot back. Man, these guys are just battling all over this racetrack for positions all throughout the field.
As let's see what Clog runs this last lap, trying to close on to the podium. 1 minute 21.368 to a 1 minute 21.4, so he was a 10th up, but that 10th does not help him. 6/10 is the gap, and he's got 9.25 minutes left to go here in Homestead.
They say time flies when you're having fun, but man, these 35 minutes so far just flown by. Absolute blast watching these guys. Just, I mean, even the littlest mistake from these guys just closes everybody right up together. And with the exception of Challenger, I think that everybody's had a little bit of a moment at one point or another during this race.
Kevin Fanning, 1 minute 22.0. Bush, 1 minute 21.8. So another 2/10 out of that advantage. It is a second and a half between those two for second in the AM class. That is for 7th overall. Josh Clog trying to close the gap on Kingsbury. He has been stalking him in the 199.
And gentlemen, I have to point out, earlier in the race on the opening laps, Christian Challenger did make contact earlier, and if you look at the right side of that car, see if we can get a good angle on it. We're not going to see it here, but you might see it going down into turn 1. There is significant damage on the right side, especially on the floor of that Audi R8 LMS. Let's see if we can get a good view here. So you see it right here. If you look, absolutely banged up on that right side. So not good for Challenger, but he's been making the most out of that car.
And by the way, Kieran Force has gotten around Steve Lane for the 9th position. Doing excellent work battling to get that spot away, and he's now up into 9th, but he is about 15 seconds or so behind David Bush, next car in line.
Last lap time, 10th up was Clog over Kingsbury, but Kingsbury driving the wheels off of that Porsche. Speaking of driving the wheels off, another 10th out of Fanning's advantage over David Bush. I never thought that I'd be making such a big deal over 7th place, but it is a wonderful battle.
Deep on the brakes is Kingsbury, or Clog right there. All over Kingsbury now as we head onto the oval.
And getting there is one thing, but being able to get by is where the real issues seem to come in. Especially on a track like this, you just need to kind of force the guy into an error of some sort. Maybe kind of flash your lights in his mirror, or kind of tuck out a line just enough to make him think about getting defensive with it. Man, it's just such a difficult track. You have to set up your move maybe 1 or 2 corners ahead of time to be there to make that move.
I can tell you, when I drove the GTE cars, I would flash my lights consistently because I know that is a way to break someone's focus and pressure them into a mistake.
Well, unless you're Jordan Taylor, and in that case, he's absolutely for it. He loves it. He's having a disco in there, and he's enjoying his time when a Porsche flashes their headlights in his rearview mirror.
Gap was equal from Kingsbury to Clog, and Gap, well, they haven't finished their lap yet, so I'll pay attention to Fanning and Bush off monitor. On monitor, we look at Kingsbury versus Clog still. 1 minute 21.9, 1 minute 22.0. No advantage for Bush this lap. I think that's actually the first lap that he has not had an advantage.
By the way, that slow car there that you just saw, black and green on the side of your
Clog
screen.
to the inside. Kingsbury got a great run, great exit off the corner.
That slow car you just saw was Robbie Lareal. He's just not giving up. He is 6 laps down, had a ton of trouble today, but he is never going to quit in this race. He's going to give everything he's got these last 6 minutes.
Deep on the brakes is Clog. I agree with Lareal. He would never quit, even if he was 10 laps down in a race. He would always try and get on track and get the track time.
Track time for Robbie, I think that's something that goes hand in hand. We see him with the rallycross running at any time, any given day, any given moment of the
He just wadded it up again. I hate to bring him up,
man.
But he wadded it up again, and he is crab walking really bad in the 213.
That's unfortunate to see and hear for him. But
he is the only driver in the field without an A or B class license. He is currently a rookie rated on the road. Man, he's trying his best out here with some tough competition. Oh, David Bush goes around.
Oh, we have David Bush spinning, yes.
Take a look off monitor.
On monitor
Good
now.
catch
Yes.
for Chad Irvine there. And
This is going
David
to cost
Busch,
him. There goes Kieran Forrest around him.
that
And
was
Steve Lane.
interesting. He lost it on the transition. He
So we're gonna
plowed
go
the
ahead and watch this
transition
back.
like normal. And watch this. I don't even know how to explain it. He just loses it. It's like the car loses all of its weight.
Yeah, there looks like there was a bit of damage that popped up on the right rear as well. Maybe he took it at an angle that the car just didn't like, and he maybe bumped something on the right side of that car, where to the point that it did upset it and spin the car around. So he's going to drop back to 10th position now.
Clog on the outside. Will Clog seal the deal for third? Kingsbury very loose on the inside in the Porsche. Can't make it happen. He's going to look at the undercut underneath Kingsbury into turn 2. Kingsbury shuts the door.
Gonna have to take a quick replay here, show you guys what happened, what opened that opportunity. Almost the same thing that happened to Busch happened to Kingsbury right there.
Oh, and Kingsbury got loose getting out of that transition. Might have given up a ton of momentum. Man,
That's
he's just
exactly
all over
what
the
he
place
did.
right now.
That's
I want
exactly
to
what he
update
did.
you. I think that spin takes David Busch out of the points lead for the AM category. Of course, it's unofficial because I don't have the numbers in front of me, but he only had 7 points ahead of Fanning.
Wow, what a battle that's turning into.
Clog to the inside of Kingsbury again, entering the oval. Porsche versus McLaren off the corner. Who's going to get the better bite? Clog looks like he's going to take the spot, clearing Kingsbury. Kingsbury, I know him. He's going to force that issue. Entering the final chicane sector here. Nearly contact. They do not! But Kingsbury slides it, and the 21 is around from the 4th spot.
And that just shows how much of a competitor Matt Kingsbury is. He was fighting. He did not want to give up an inch of ground there. Kept the car under, well, kind of kept the car under. Didn't make any contact with either Clog or any other cars or the wall. But man, that just shows how tough and hard he is fighting out there just to try to finish on the podium here tonight.
When I ran Rallycross for my last season, he was one of the most aggressive, and I say that in a loving way, because he would drive you rough, but he would not make contact with you, and that is point proven, because he could have tried to overcorrect it and slam into Clog, but he didn't. He sacrificed his own race and kept Clog running.
Well, he is the only driver in NASA GT racing to have ever gotten a season suspension.
I forgot about that. Ignore me.
Yeah, he is definitely very aggressive in these as well. He's trying to change that reputation. You saw it with that move. They're able to keep it clean and able to just hang on to the 4th spot for now. Under a little bit of pressure from his brother Ray. We'll have to see as they're running out of time Ray is to make up a 2-second gap.
David Busch, that's 20 points. So that was not. He's up 9, but then
1,
down 4.
4.
So
I'm better
up
now.
5. Net gain of 5. Or net loss of 2. My numbers are hard. For all the non-accounting people,
Guys, my abacus is over here smoking just a little bit. I mean, we're under 30 seconds to go. We're going to be wrapping this race up very soon.
he's going to run another lap. He doesn't have enough time to let Janny through, to not let Janny through. So we're going to take the white flag here, boys and girls, in Homestead, Miami. Christian Challenger, 1 minute 20.849 to add insult to injury. His fastest lap was his previous lap than that, 1 minute 20.829. So granted, he basically ran the same lap. So pouring salt into the wound is Christian Challenger on Michael Janney here. Wow. As Christian Challenger down the back straightaway in the Audi car number 7, the Briton, who has 13 wins in this series, continues his streak of being the winningest driver. Under the lights in Homestead, Miami, started 8th in the feature, made it through the calamity and off of the final corner. Challenger puts one hand on the trophy as he wins in Homestead, Miami, flashing the lights in the Audi. He will finish 8.6 seconds ahead of his championship rival, Michael Janney. Janney tried so hard to take the fight to him, but ran it wide in the infield. The official gap, 8.5. Finishing third, Clog. Fourth will be Matt Kingsbury after battling with Clog. So there's going to be two fiercely forward.
Tonight, our cup runneth over as we head to Sonoma County, birthplace of California winemaking, for the Sports Car Challenge Championship. But before we crown a victor for the season, let's get some business out of the way. I'm Charlie Daniels, joined by Victor Vallee and Chad Irvine in the virtual studio for today's pre-show. Thanks for hanging out with us on Nitro Circus Twitch. We're pretty stoked to get this one underway, but let's talk Nitro Circus really quick before we get too deep into it. Thank you all so much for joining the stream tonight. I see a bunch of familiar faces out there. Let us know in chat if you're new. Let us know who you're rooting for. We all got our eyes on the championship tonight with Challenger and Janney duking it out for that top spot, and then the points are tied in the AM class. Again, we'll get into that in a second, but yeah, let us know who you're rooting for. Real quick before we get going, a couple of programming notes. Wednesday will be the final stream, the final broadcast in the Rallycross Challenge. That's the Rallycross series. NASA Nitro co-sponsored. That one's also coming down to some awesome dynamics in the overall race, so make sure you tune in for that. 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here on Nitro Circus Twitch on Wednesday night. We will not have a stream tomorrow night, Tuesday night. We're taking the week off from Nitro Circus League. We'll be back though next week with the summer series. Exclamation point NC League in chat to get more details on that. We've also got some broadcasts coming up on national TV with the Pit Bike Triple Crown. 3 pit bike races covering all over the country, starting with the broadcast on FS1 Sunday, July 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time. That one will be the Kevin Windham's Farm 14 Throwdown. The next week, 1 week later, July 11th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific. Sipes Pit Bike Championship, that'll be on FS2, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Also FS2 the following week, July 18th, Pastranaland Pit Bike Championship. Fans of Nitro Circus know what Pastranaland is. That will be the final one in the final Triple Crown event, and you don't want to miss that, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on FS2. We're getting... Practice time is running out here. Are we going right to qualifying next, guys? I'm talking too much already.
No, we've got plenty of time here, man. We've got 10 minutes of qualifying. We don't need to talk through it, so you're good.
But I need to introduce you guys before I broke the fourth wall by talking to you before last but not least on the business list, we got the BMX tour going on. Exclamation point BMX tour in chat. Micah Kranz is on the road with some of the best BMXers in the business, doing more than 20 shows all over the country. Fans of this channel know who Micah is. He co-hosts a couple shows on this channel. One of the greats. He's the MC of our live show, like I said, these BMX shows are insane. They've got the 3-story drop in, the big ramp. They're doing tricks that people didn't think possible.
Yeah, you're gonna see
just a couple years ago.
You're gonna see air like you just saw Michael Janney get right there. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was epic. So yeah, there's 20 more shows. They just started this last weekend. Micah said the shows were great. They unfortunately had a rain out yesterday in Cincinnati, but hit that exclamation point BMX tour in chat. Actually, Trevor Teal, if you don't mind typing that in. There's a good chance they'll be coming to a spot near you. And best of all, those shows are absolutely free to attend. They're in Walmart parking lots, outdoor BMX shows. So pretty cool. BMX Tour is the command. Thanks, Josh. So we're going to Sonoma tonight, guys. We're excited about this championship. There's a lot at stake. It's not a done deal yet. Our leader still has to have a good night to win out. It's not a coin toss at this point, but it's definitely there's things to drive for tonight still. So it's pretty exciting. Sonoma, founded in 1968. In the full circuit, drivers have to contend with 12 turns that will give them a little bit of everything on each lap, which is pretty exciting. We've got off camber, check, slow, medium, fast corners, check, blind entries, exits, and sometimes both, check. It's the ultimate championship track. Chad Irvine, tell us about Sonoma.
Man, the biggest thing about this track is the elevation changes. I mean, you're going uphill into turn number 2. You're going downhill next couple of corners after that. And there's a couple of blind apexes, a couple blind corner entries that definitely make it interesting. I know we're not going to have any fuel saving here, but I remember going back to NASCAR probably about 7 or 8 years ago, I think at this point it was, when a couple of guys going up the hill turned off their engines to save fuel and ended up not being able to get restarted up the hill and stalled out from the lead. I think it was Marcus Ambrose.
Yeah, that was 2009. Marcos Ambrose, right there where you see Josh Claude going through. That was really unfortunate for him. He wasn't able to win that day. I think it was Jimmy Johnson who actually capitalized upon that. It was 2009 or 2010. Can't quite remember. But as you heard Chad say, it's up, down, left, right. As you can see here, down the corner into this really weird right-hander. It's so hard to get right. You have this blind left-hander sweeping corner. This is called the carousel. As you see them come through the corner, get right to that curb on the left side and all the way out to the right side curb. And this is the style of track that NASCAR uses now. This is the layout they use. So that's why they take that left-hand kink right there.
By the way, Victor, that's a carousel. You guys watching at home, you have to get familiar with that corner, because on Wednesday you'll see drivers taking that same corner
Backwards.
except for the opposite direction and covered in dirt. I mean, just incredible what they've done in iRacing to get this suitable for rallycross as well. And man, it's going to be a fun one both tonight and Wednesday night. The championship, I believe, is locked up over there in rallycross, but there's still some podium positions that are still up for grabs. But here, we still have a championship, both in AM and Pro, that are up for an intense battle here tonight.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Chad. Looking at the points, I know we were saying earlier, it's not really a coin toss of a championship right now. Challenger definitely has the upper hand going into tonight. Michael Janney, 18 points back. So for Janney to steal the championship away, Challenger has to finish third in both races, I believe, is how he can get it done. With that said, however, Michael Janney has been having some issues throughout the day with his power at his home, so definitely on the back foot right now for the fiercely forward McLaren driver. But never say never. As we've seen in these championships before, they typically come down to the final lap and come down to the final position on the track. Sometimes it can go past the checkered flag as we saw in the first season.
Yeah, for sure, Victor, and just interesting that we're not immune to weather difficulties in sim racing either. So unfortunately for Janney, dealing with those power outages could affect his race today. He's got to be focused on that, as well as I believe he has to finish first in the sprint and the feature. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
As well as have Challenger get unlucky and finish third or worse in both.
Exactly. So it's going to take a lot of luck for him to win the championship. Now, one that is a coin toss, coin flip, as you would call it, is the AM Championship. David Busch, Kevin Fanning, all tied up going into this race. It's anyone's race in the AM Championship, Chad.
Oh man, it's going to be such a fun fight. It's been great to watch these guys last season. And just think about, what if it came down to the fact, and I do have confirmation from David Busch last week when we were talking about it, Busch last week, we saw him go wide during the infield section at Homestead. It was his VR screen that locked up. He was not able to see where his car was going, so he just held the brakes and ran with it. But man, that just shows that could be a determining factor here in the AM standings tonight, and that would be just incredible because that battle is very close for the amateur championship.
Yeah, that's correct. And you see third place, Seth Rawls is the only other guy who's eligible. Actually, Brian Stone is as well, but he's pretty far out of the championship hunt right now. But Seth Rawls, third place in the AM championship, is not here tonight, so unfortunate to hear that. So he won't be able to possibly go for the championship if there was to be some kind of issue for the top two.
And by the way, about halfway through qualifying, just past it here actually, but Challoner on top right now, 0.6 of a second back is Michael James, so Challoner has the pace. Ray Kingsbury right there as well, then Clog, Busch, and Schofield. We'll give to you see the full field rundown there on the side of your screen with where these guys are lining up, and it's going to be a fantastic show.
And I actually have to bring one more thing up here. Right now, those two guys who are going for the AM championship, they're 5th in points. They're tied for 5th in points right now. These guys are going for it, and they're like almost there in that championship hunt as well. You know, I mean, it's not like they're like 11th or 12th in points. These guys have been going at it all year, and they've been mixing it up with the best of them in pro.
Yeah, the competition level is very high here in this series, and we have to, of course, thank everybody for jumping on board with Penguin RC and Nitro Circus and everything. Just watching this series grow, we've got some great talent, both that have been around for all 3 seasons, like Ray Kingsbury. We've got guys brand new to it. I don't think Busch was here last season.
Yeah, David Busch is
he's
this
brand
is
new
a
to
first-year
it.
competitor as well.
And then we've got Christian Challoner in there as well, who, of course, is last year's AM champion. So he's looking to go back-to-back here, and these guys all throughout the field fighting very hard, both this season and for the last couple, and hopefully for seasons to come as well.
Yeah, and to tie up a couple other loose ends, the team standings, of course, last week we told you that Fiercely Forward and Spark clinched their championship in the team standings for KES Industries, Keep 'em Spinning Industries. Got to thank Mario Bonfante Jr. for his support of the Penguin RC Sports Car Championship as well. And of course, Brian Stone, as well as Penguin RC. He represents Penguin RC. He's the owner of Penguin RC, I do believe. And so we have to thank him as well for his support of the Sports Car Challenge. And of course, everybody else you see involved, of course, all the teams, Matco Tools, NPR, Fiercely Forward, everybody involved. They do such a good job and make it such a good series to compete in. Everybody who's here tonight and everybody's showed up to an event.
Definitely.
And Chad, I don't know. Did you show up for a GT race this year?
I did not show up for a GT race. I showed up for the Rallycross race last week, and I'm really on the fence about showing up this upcoming Wednesday as well.
Hey, you said you were only 2 seconds off the pace, so you might not be last.
I don't know how to turn right on asphalt though, so that's my big problem.
Yeah, that's a little scary, isn't it?
Yeah, I like to just go fast and turn left, raise hail, praise Dale.
Exactly.
There it is. Speaking of that, just some breaking news here in chat. We learned from Trevor Teal, Nitro's own Jim DeChamp will be running in the Rallycross Challenge on Wednesday. So a first time in this series, we've got a Nitro athlete on board. Hopefully not the last. Hopefully next season we'll be able to attract a few more of those. And I just want to echo what you said, Victor, thanking all the sponsors and also thanking the fans. Thank you to the audience out there. You guys watching this is what makes it happen. So much appreciated for all of you being here, and tell your friends this is the last week of these series, but they're coming back in the fall or in
even
a month.
Better.
So
they're coming back even better.
So stay tuned for news on that. So it's going to be, with any luck, it's going to be, we're going to improve on what we're doing every single week moving forward. So and stay tuned for kind of interim programming too. We'll have some fun stuff in the meantime on this channel. So it looks like we're winding down qualifying here, guys.
Yep. I was gonna say there's only one car on track, and that's Kieran Force. We're looking at him, so Yeah, it's wrapped
so
up.
yeah.
I have to say, before we switch things over here to the guys in the booth, chat, make your predictions. We'll be cheering right along with you there, and it's going to be a fantastic show here from Sonoma. But
Absolutely.
yeah, what a fantastic pre-race, and we'll see you guys in a little bit.
So without further ado, I'm going to throw it over to the voice of automotive sim racing. That's Josh Mertz in the commentary cube.
And I'm gonna roast you. You got the name wrong again, but it's okay. Hello, Charley. Hello, Chad. Hello, Victor. Hello, Chad. Hello, everybody. As we get ready to close out the Penguin RC NASA Sports Car Challenge presented by Nitro Circus. It's a little bit small of a field tonight, 13 cars, but I've said this before. My first exposure to sports car racing was at American Le Mans Series at Road America. There were 2 cars in the prototype class, and it was a last lap photo finish. So I don't care how many cars there are. It's still going to be an excellent race. We are potentially going to witness a repeat champion, and we've had that in Rallycross, but we haven't had that in the sports cars. Christian Challenger, if you can call him an AM driver last season, won that championship in dominating fashion, missed a race in Brands Hatch this season, and is out in front of Michael Janney, who is having some issues with his computer. And once again, I hate breaking the fourth wall, but heat waves in Maryland. Hopefully he is okay, of course, if he needs to vanish to conserve power and stay cool. We would much rather him have that. The main focus is going to be on the AM class. Like mentioned in the pre-race show, we have Kevin Fanning and David Bush III neck and neck for that championship. And our format, I don't think we have a graphic for it, but it is a 15-minute sprint race. The top 8 will be inverted, and then a 45-minute feature. And this is going to be great. As our broadcast tonight, brought to you by SimRacer Coin, the cryptocurrency made by sim racers for sim racers, and our 13 sim racers will race to own the winner's coin tonight. You can check out their platform, mission and vision, simracercoin.org. Thank you to Miguel Gomez for all of your support, and also Brian Sohn, involved with Penguin RC. The beautiful Sonoma Raceway here in wine country in California, 2.53 miles, and they used to run the further part in that little NASCAR chute. And then a couple years ago, they decided that it was a good idea to run the full circuit. So we have seen already some crazy action involving that carousel, and it's such a hard corner to get right, as mentioned in the pre-race show. As we're missing Mike Berry for a couple minutes, so I'll be probably by myself, but I'm sure one of you guys will chime in.
Don't worry. Gotcha.
As we go down the drag strip, as we make the left, which if you continue on to the Rallycross Association, this is the Joker, the end of the drag strip, usually right about there on the drag strip, is where a jump would be. So that's going to be a certainly exciting race. Regardless, if there's only 13 cars, I don't know what's going to happen in the next hour. So I hate to use the NASCAR on Fox saying, but we need to buckle our seatbelts or pull those belts tight, as Larry Mack would say, because it's going to be a great race tonight.
Boogity, boogity, boogity.
I'm firing you. You're done. That's one thing that I don't want on my channel.
No, but I mean, last time we were here, man, it was a fantastic show with a battle between the Kingsbury brothers, and hopefully we get a similar fight here tonight with Challenger starting from the pole.
I remember the last time we were here, I got intent wrecked. That was kind of my fault, and kind of not, but we don't go over that. As we go down into the hairpin, this is where the Indy cars would make the right-hand corner.
Josh, I'm actually live right now, and I just have to say this, Chad. Don't want to say boogity, boogity, boogity too many times because he might get us in trouble. Because I think there's a copyright phrase.
Oh, no.
Safety car is off. We got 13 cars going for 15 minutes here in Sonoma. Green flag. Challenger gets a great jump over Janney, and it's exactly what he needs. As remember, in the pre-race show, Janney's got to have a perfect race. Challenger's got to finish P3. Clog side by side with Kingsbury. Clog washes out into his teammate, and the inaugural champion pushed back to 4th.
And Forrest off there, barely avoiding the tires, but he's going to rejoin safely as well. There was no contact there. I think just the transition into the hill just upset his car a little bit.
Tim Brokaw spins up the hill. Nobody makes contact with him. He got very close to Marwan Moftah. So already 2 cars struggling in the first quarter of a lap. But who is not struggling? Christian Challenger.
and he has not struggled all season long. But you see right there, got about 5 or 6 car lengths back to Michael Janney, and Janney's got some work to do if he wants to win that championship.
And I'm about to lock you out of the commentary cube as we have a guy named Mike Barry here who has just shown up, probably eating ice cream, but you know, welcome to NASA. As now we go down the hill. Challoner's already got, well, that number's not a good number if you believe in that, but 0.6 of a second is the gap. And I'm going to be beating this dead horse. I mean, Janney has to keep up with Challoner, but we saw last week it is so hard to do.
Definitely is, Josh. Thank you for introducing, by the way. Hi, everybody. Obviously, I know I missed last week, but I did catch up on it, and we did see that Michael Janney, he has some work to do tonight, but he is definitely not out of arm's reach for that championship. I'm sure you guys brought it up at the pre-race show, but yeah, just let's see what he can do. There's the punch stand.
And we brought it up for just a quick second, hitting the wrong button, so Victor Vallee certainly knows what he's doing. Janney, 0.8 down on Challoner after 1 lap. Looks like he's a little bit squirrely in the 113, entering the corner there.
He was a little bit looser right now. I mean, we talk about like the McLaren and the Audi are probably the most unstable cars in the GT3 lineups, and this track could be showcasing that.
So we're going to once again remind everybody about the AM class. And remember, we get points for the AM class or the Pro class in the sprint race. So every single position now especially matters because David Busch is in 6th place. If I look at the results, if that's correct, he will get 3 points. Fanning is in 8th. He would only get 1 point. It'd be a 2-point swing, and it would give Busch a much-needed cushion. As Challoner down into the final corner. I might be wrong on my points, but we'll have to take a look and see.
And by the way, Christian Challoner in qualifying was 0.6 of a second faster than Michael Janney. So Janney's going to have a lot of work to figure something out here in the sprint going into the feature to make something work for him.
He definitely is. I mean, you know, Janney he's no slow driver here, but this is a tough track. I mean, Challoner obviously, you know, a little bit of home, not really home field advantage, but he's obviously done so much testing with these cars and he's so familiar with them. Let's see if Janney can, like, you know, overcome that, I guess, and see just what he can do. He's got something. He doesn't have enough right now for Challoner, and I'll see if he can improve that.
It's Clog, Kingsbury, Schofield, Busch, Kingsbury. It was Ray, then Matt. Fanning, Sohn, Mofthoff, Forrest, Lane, and Brokaw is our field. And David Busch, really the breakout star of this AM category, and we started the season with a decent-sized field. It was about 20 cars. No, I stand corrected, 25 cars. So certainly a little bit of a drop-off. It might have been the GT3s when we ran GTE and GT3. It was pretty decent, and then all GTE we had 40 cars at Watkins Glen for that first round. But there's going to be incidents involved, and of course people will come and go, but we do have our little core group, and that's really what matters.
Indeed it is now. I'm looking at Challoner right now. I've been doing math in my head this whole time, but it's like if he wins the sprint, that's going to give him enough of a buffer to where. Actually, yeah. So unfortunately, they kind of messed up a little bit. But it's
if
like
Christian Challoner wins the sprint and Janney finishes second, all that Christian Challoner needs is a top 5 finish in the sprint. That's all that would take, regardless of where Janney finishes.
Yeah, and Janney's going to need to win that race if he doesn't get to top 5. So it's definitely got some, you know, excitement.
The only thing that he can hope for is that Challoner gets caught in an accident in the start, but then you have to remember he's going to be right side by side with Challoner, and there's only 13 cars, so I don't suspect that we're going to have a huge mess like we did, for example, at the beginning of the season.
You might be right here. Let's talk. I mean, Janney's losing about 0.2 a lap, I guess you could say, on Challoner. I mean, if he's gonna have to. Oh, we got some contact on the screen right there. That's the 0-3 and the
Brian Sohn.
Brian Sohn and Marwan Mofta. Wow, what a dive!
Sent it. He sent it. He didn't lock. Oh, he looks like he might have locked up the brakes, maybe. But Mofta barrels his way through on the 0-3, so move him up a position in the AM standings. That puts him to 4th.
Yeah, he's gonna try his best right now. He's just such a. I mean, that's just a weird move, but it's. I mean, we talk about this track. It's got like 2 hairpins basically, and those are your 2 passing spots. You don't really do anything anywhere else. So I mean, just you can send it in there, but I don't think that's exactly how we would want it. Now we see him making that run there.
Big run on Sohn into turn 1A, and then turn 2. I don't have a map in front of me, so I really hope I didn't mess that one up. But Forrest had the run off the final corner, got a little bit loose on the curb there in turn 2, and contact up front. Clog is around in the 199. And I'll take a look off monitor here. What had happened? He locked up the rear, so I stand corrected. No, there was. Hold on. There was bad contact.
Yeah, there was definitely contact between that sent Clog's car around, but man, that allowed both Schofield and Kingsbury to get through.
That was half a car length in netcode. That's crazy. I've never seen that before.
I could always show you worse. I've had a terrible couple of netcode incidents, but man, that was pretty bad from the looks. But let's take a look here at the replay. See him coming up the hill around this right-hander. They're going to start diving down to this right-hander. And, I mean, there's a clear gap there, and that just sends him around. That's just unfortunate from both Clog and Kingsbury's perspectives.
Indeed it is. I mean, I guess I got to see, can Clog rebound? Is he going to just hold back in 8th? I mean, if he can get into 8th, he can stay on the pole and potentially fight Challoner and Janney for the win here.
As we will take a look and refresh our running order. So far, halfway home in the sprint race, Christian Challoner, Michael Janney, David Schofield sits in 3rd. 4th is Ray Kingsbury. 5th is David Bush. 6th is Matt Kingsbury. 7th Fanning. 8th Clog. 9th Mofta. So Clog easily dispatched of the Egyptian in the 191. And now I almost wouldn't try and pass Fanning. I mean, you're going to have the pole position for the invert.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's not a bad... Oh, Marwan. Oh, a little bit of blinking there from Marwan Mofta right now as he goes off track a little bit going into the infield section here. I can't remember the corner number.
Down through that downhill section, yeah, he was wide. He lost a lot of time and positions. But the best thing is with his connection issues that you saw, his car kind of disappeared. The best thing about that is that it was safe. It wasn't like, he was net coding into 3 different cars, but that's unfortunate seeing those connection issues when you're trying to compete for positions here.
As there's one thing that I noticed to Mofta, and I can relate to this. Turn 3A, which the corner that he was at, because of the crest, the car gets really light, and it's not just because of these cars. I remember when I was big racing the HPD in the Prototype GT challenge, it would get very light when you crest the hill, and I should probably know the science to that, but I don't. But all I know is he caught it, and it spit him off the road.
Yeah, both the crest of the hill, once you come over the peak, it's going to take some weight off of it. But the biggest thing about this track, more so than that, I think, is just the off-camber corner. So many elevation changes right after that turn 4-5 complex is downhill, and it's going to change the weight of the car there as well, kind of compress the springs. And you have to get your spring rates just perfect for this track because there's so many hills and elevation changes. And that's something, depending on the circuit, you don't see a lot of at American tracks.
Speaking of American, Matt Kingsbury from Connecticut sneaking up on David Bush III. And this is crucial because, once again, Bush and Fanning are tied. Fanning is behind Kingsbury. So if Matt can get by Bush, this is going to lower the gap for the Lamborghini by 1 point. 1 point would be the advantage. Essentially a winner-take-all scenario here in Sonoma. Lamborghini versus Ferrari, 2 Italian manufacturers. We haven't really been able to say that in real-world racing. At least I don't believe so. Don't kill me. But
I think you're right.
We'll have to see, as I know Lamborghini was an F1 25 years ago, but they dipped out. So it's been Ferrari's the only Italian manufacturer in that specific series.
Hey, Alfa Romeo.
And by the way, taking a look over at Twitch, I do agree with Trevor Teal. We need to water this grass, man. It's all dead. Look at all this dirt out here. Who's the groundskeeper?
The funniest thing is when it is springtime in Sonoma, it is a beautiful, luscious green garden. And no racing series think it's a great idea to race in these conditions. Schofield off the curb, I'm looking. This is for the third position, sorry. Kingsbury gets by Schofield. Schofield clipped it off into the dirt. So no racing series think it's a great idea to race with the lush green gardens, but... So I stand corrected.
If you guys didn't hear, it was there, Victor Vallee.
Yeah,
He said USAC raced in green in the 60s, so, you know.
Schofield dives to the inside.
Wow, what a dive. I think that was a very heads-up move by Kingsbury, seeing that coming, because he did not turn in where he normally would. He saw that car just charging at him, and he stayed wide just long enough to avoid contact.
As I was just about to mention that, as we'll welcome in all of our new viewers. We're watching the Penguin RC Simulation Sports Car Challenge, presented by Nitro, Circus, Chad Irvine, Victor Vallee, Mike Berry, Charley Daniels. I am Josh Mertz. We're finishing up our sprint race. Stay around, stay tuned for in the next couple of minutes, we'll have our feature race, 45 minutes long. Schofield off the podium in fourth now.
And by the way, you see it on your timing and scoring there, Brian Son having some issues on track. He unfortunately has taken his car back behind the wall, so his sprint race is done. We'll have to see what he can do here in the 45-minute feature.
Yeah, unfortunate that Ferrari looked very racy tonight, as now we're looking back at another Kingsbury. That's Kingsbury and David Bush. They're trying to catch up to Matt and Phil Schofield, but they're not exactly gonna. Yeah, we got some serious implications here actually, because remember all those guys are kind of battling for the AM title, and I think we are right still just in at a 1-point gap if I'm not wrong.
It's 2 points until Matt, or if Clog gets by Fanning, the gap will widen, but if Kingsbury gets by Bush, the gap will shrink.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see Clog find a way around Kevin Fanning here. The only difference I would see is maybe strategy if Clog decides to sit back. But otherwise, I think that Fanning has that 7th place pretty much locked up. Because Clog does have more pace. We saw it in qualifying. But yeah, I mean, Kevin Fanning just holding on right now to that 7th position.
We're going to take the white flag here in the sprint race in Sonoma because lap times are about 1:30. We take the flag with 1:25 left to go, so this should be the white flag. Christian Challoner leads by 2.7 seconds ahead of Michael Janney. Granted, there were issues with Kingsbury, Schofield, and the likes, but look at our timing. 14 seconds between Challoner and Kingsbury. It's 12 seconds from Janney to Kingsbury. A huge gap from second to third.
After the first couple laps, I thought that Challoner would have a much bigger gap. But man, Janney's done a great job, especially later on here in the run. The tires burned away, and last lap it was only 2/10 the difference between the two of them. So Challoner really doing a great job to hold on to that lead. Janney, he's working his hardest. But look at those jaws. Those jaws just chomping at the back bumper of Bush, and that's going to have huge implications down to the AM Championship if he gets around.
This is the battle for 5th overall on the road, and this is the battle to reduce the gap for Kevin Fanning by 1 point. And if I'm Kevin Fanning, I would instantly be best friends with Matt Kingsbury because he wants that gap to shrink. As I'm looking up the field, Schofield dives it in on Kingsbury again, can't make it happen. Will Matt try something on Bush, or will he ride behind him to finish the sprint race? We'll have to see.
It's going to be very interesting right now because we talked about earlier, it's like if the gap gets reduced to 1 point, then we're going to have a little bit of an interesting battle here as we see Christian Challoner actually coming across. He's going to win that sprint race, no problem, actually taking it very easy. But as I was saying,
I said one hand on the trophy last week. I'd say one hand and 3 fingers on the trophy after the sprint race. Janney comes home in second. Third will be Kingsbury. Fourth is Schofield. Fifth is Bush. He's going to hold off Matt Kingsbury in the Porsche. 7th is Fanning. He holds off Clog, who will invert pole position. Kieran Forrest comes home in 9th. 10th is Lane. 11th, Moftaw. 12th, Brokaw. And 13th, Brian Sohn. As we bring in Charley Daniels for the warm-up show, I'll see you guys in a minute.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Josh, and apologies for getting the handoff wrong. But in my defense, I asked for
It's all
line,
good. It
and
is
I
all
wasn't
good.
given one. So now I'm going to introduce Josh, but with whatever weird stuff I can think of from now on. I've got a good one.
That's the best thing to do.
The baked bean king of the upper Northwest. Welcome in, everybody. Trevor Teal with the gifted sub. 100 and let me get this right. 148 subs gifted in the channel. That is wild. Thank you so much, Trevor Teal. No one will ever come close to beating you on that. I can guarantee it. Thanks for all the support and anyone following and supporting in any way. Just watching is big support, but if you're spending your hard-earned coins on this, we really appreciate it. Really does go to keeping this channel going and making the future bigger and better for Nitro Circus Twitch. Guys, with 10 minutes to go till the feature, it looks like Challoner has locked up that win. Is that correct, or am I off on my math there?
Well, he's not completely locked it up. I mean, if you can look at the points right now, he gained, I believe, let me go ahead and take a look off screen.
He picked up three points there, so the gap is 24 now. So he would now have to finish 6th or better.
Yeah, 21 points is the gap. I said, Chad, I love you, but I don't think you can do math that well.
Well, I just realized that the point standings I was looking at had actually already been updated.
Oh,
but
they have.
Yeah,
Wow, that is
21
spicy.
points
Thank you,
now.
Josh Mertz. I appreciate Josh for doing that.
So it's 21 points now, and that would mean, yeah, he'd have to finish. So 6 gives you 28 points. First gives you 50. So Janny wins, and Challoner finishes 6th. Janny gets it by 1 point. So a top five.
It's
a top
mathematically
five,
still possible, but
a top 5 for Challoner gives him the championship. Is what we're saying here.
Yep.
Got it. So that's the race to watch in terms of the pro class.
Yep, and then the AM Championship, that's going to be decided in the future. Still a winner-take-all situation here. David Bush now has a 2-point gap to Kevin Fanning. So,
the
with
only
that said,
ways that they, so the only ways that they can tie, really. So once you get down to 4th on back is a 2-point gap for every position. So if they finish 4 and 5 with Fanning in front of Bush, they are tied. 5th and 6th is the same, just all the way back down to 10th. So if Fanning finishes 1 position in front of Bush and they both get a top 10, then we're going to have a tie, and it's going to come back to a tiebreaker. And I don't even want to think about who has that tiebreaker right now.
I don't want to think about tiebreakers. We've already had them so many times in this series, and it's just insane to think about because we have it every year. It seems like we've had a tie of some sort. Maybe not for the championship, but I'm pretty sure we had one last year for, I think, 3rd in the championship. So, I mean, honestly, it's scary to think about, but at the same time, it's really awesome to think about. It's just scary because I don't like math, and that involves math, and of course, nobody likes math.
I have to say, last time that this league was here was back in the first ever season.
That's right.
Of this league, and that season it came down to a tiebreaker for the championship that was determined based on a penalty assessed to a driver not even involved in the championship battle. So tiebreakers for the championship are nothing new to this league, and that just shows the level of competition and how great and level this playing field is. Because, oh my goodness, I think we'd all lose our collective minds here if we came down to another tiebreaker.
Yeah, and it's great. It's great to see that because it's multiple championship battles that can be coming down to ties. This one, of course, in AM, and then you look at Wednesday, the team championship, the constructors championship over there, that could come down to a tie as well. So it's really insane to think about. And David Bush has 3 AM wins. So if there was a tie in the standings, I believe David Bush would be your champion at that point.
Correct. The first tiebreaker is total number of wins. And in the AM, that comes down to class and not overall position. So he does have the most wins among the 2 of them. We wouldn't have to look any further than that.
That's exactly right. And to say, I know we've mentioned it just a moment ago, some programming notes, of course. Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. Actually, we'll be going live at 8:25. But if you show up then, it'll just be a blank screen saying we're about to go live. But 8:30 p.m. we'll be re-airing the race 9 of 10, the feature race for that, and then the finale from Sonoma for the St. Mercer Coin Rallycross Challenge presented by Nitro Circus. That'll be live 8:30 p.m. once again, Eastern, that is. And that's 5:30 Pacific, if I'm correct. I'm not very good with time zones.
That's correct, Victor.
So,
and as announced earlier in the broadcast, we'll have Nitro Circus legend Jim DeChamp running for the first time.
Won't want to miss that one.
So definitely come check that out. And if you're just joining us, we are warming up for our feature race here for the Sports Car Challenge. So stick around, because in less than 5 minutes, we'll get right to the action to determine a champion for this 10-race series culminating tonight at Sonoma.
And by the way, I have to mention what Chris Mandela just said in chat. He asked who Tiebreaker is and why does someone have him?
Yeah,
Chad,
Mandel,
you could probably make that one work, right?
Chris Mandel having an accident just a few moments ago with the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I think it's clicked his dad jokes on. Something about that PB&J falling on the ground. He's in chat now, a little bit confused, but hey, Trevor Teal liked the joke, so I guess it can't be all that bad.
You know, honestly, I gotta say, that's a really good dad joke. And
is Ty related to Jaw?
You know, I think he might be.
The Breaker Boys?
Yeah, Tiebreaker and Jawbreaker, the two best breakers out there.
If you're just joining us, also, this isn't really what the broadcast is like usually, so don't leave. We'll have
I think it's a lot more entertaining.
But if we're giving out programming notes, don't forget in 2 weeks we actually begin on Tuesday nights our Nitro Summer Series, and we'll have both the jumpy trucks as well as super late models. I think it is.
Yes,
Charley,
super late.
confirmed?
Yes. And that's
just
going to be
just through the details in chat. So click that link. You'll get the whole breakdown of what the summer series is involved. The biggest news for that, I think, if you're familiar with Nitro Circus League, is that this time there will be prizes, and quite a few of them actually. We're gonna line it up so that not only will the series winners take home some nice prizes, we're gonna have some prizes for people coming in with the best paint, bringing the biggest cheering section, those types of things, so that really, even if you're not the fastest driver out there, you have a chance to win some really cool stuff, including tickets to Nitro Circus shows, iRacing credits, and more. So make sure you join up for that. And if nothing else, come watch it, because it's going to be a real good time. Those broadcasts will be super fun, and the setups will be fun. The drivers are awesome.
Yeah.
It'll be
That's
great.
perfect. That's perfect for Chad right there. He's
And
never
by the way,
fastest.
I know that if anybody out there needs, paints for these, Mike Berry can confirm I make some amazing paint jobs for every kind of car.
I can confirm that, as they're absolutely gorgeous, Chad.
My Formula V car definitely does not feature somebody sitting on a toilet driving down the road.
Dad, you haven't even brought up your modern
Nice.
art Jetta.
Your modern art VW as well. I like that one.
Yeah, that's
So
Galaxy
if you're trying to win the best paint contest for Nitro Circus League Summer Series, hit up Irvine for that. By the way, guys, just looking over at the warm-up times, Janny is outpacing Challenger during the warm-up here, which is kind of intriguing, getting a little exciting going into this feature. What do you guys think?
You know what? We've seen Christian Challenger do this time after time. I'm gonna hope that something spectacular happens and we have an intense battle for the championship. But man, we've seen Christian so many times be a couple tenths down, whether it's in qualifying and he takes practice and then takes the pole in qualifying, or just something along those lines. He always finds a way through. That's how he won his championship last season. And he just goes 4 tenths faster.
I was about to say, I think he was about to put down a steaming fast lap time, and he did. That's actually faster than his qualifying time, I believe, by about a tenth.
And I can tell you, that's not going to be in his qualifying setup. That's going to be his race setup that he's running right now.
Okay,
so
correction.
he somewhere found some speed.
Correction, that is a tenth off his qualifying time. which is
Okay.
still insanely quick. He's actually a 10th. That's a 10th. Janney went in 10th faster than his qualifying time. So it looks like Janney's finding some time, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough to get Challoner. And Challoner's going to have to, is obviously going to be starting from 8.
He's going to have to not just pip him, he's going to have to beat him, and Challoner's going to have to beat back 6
And we have to
places.
remember that Challoner is so good in traffic as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But Charlie, you should turn it over to our bean man.
Thanks to Victor Vallee and Chad Irvine. I'm going to throw it back to the booth for the Bikini Boys of the Bayou. That's Josh Mertz and Mike Berry. Take it away, guys.
I actually like it better that you have some ridiculous nonsense. It is in the true fashion of NASA and Nitro Circus. Hello, welcome back, everyone, to the Penguin RC Simulation NASA Sports Car Challenge, presented by Nitro Circus. It's Mike Berry alongside me. I am Josh Mertz, to bring you the call for Nitro Circus Twitch, powered by the Automotive Sports Network. Remember, you can join the conversation, hashtag NASA on Nitro, or for ASN On Demand viewers, hashtag ASN TV USA. So we want to, I personally, and of course I'm going to do this before we go, I want to thank all of our viewers, whether you were live or on demand, all season long. It has been a wonderful time for this first season collaborating with Nitro Circus. I never thought 9 years ago that this would happen. As we roll, getting ready to grid, we look at the AM class, and not discrediting the Pro class. They're magnificent at what they do, but the biggest story of today has to be Kevin Fanning or David Bush. Fanning grids up 1 row ahead of Bush. This is going to be a tricky turn 1, Mike.
Indeed it is right now. I mean, I didn't get a chance to talk about the track here because I imagine you guys did it during the pre-race, but this is one of my favorite, it's one of my favorite circuits. Probably in anywhere in the world. It's just such a fun track to drive and even to watch with all the elevation change and the relatively slow speeds, which actually become a benefit, not a hindrance to him. Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to talk about it earlier, but yeah, I love this track, man. Anyway, yeah, we're...
As I apologize, I was responding to one of my employees because I left work and apparently it blew up in the department and I feel really bad. But I'm off this weekend, so I had to work today to be off this weekend. So, Road America for the NASCAR weekend and my birthday. That should be a fun time. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that, boys. We are here to get ready for 45 minutes of contact, hopefully not all contact, in Sonoma. My brain kind of falls apart getting ready for these races. I'm just very excited to see the 3rd season of this championship finish up.
I just want to say it's been incredible to watch this the last 3 seasons. I remember when this thing first started up, there was about a handful of us here in GT that, by the end of the season, we've seen our numbers dwindle at times, but man, every race has been a spectacular show. Last time in Sonoma, it was the Kingsburys battling for the lead, with Josh Mertz getting absolutely destroyed in the final.
No,
but the Kingsbury brothers battling for the lead, and it was a spectacular finish here last time. Let's hope this feature we see a very similar result.
As we will have Josh Clogg, Kevin Fanning, Matt Kingsbury, David Bush, David Schofield, Ray Kingsbury, Michael Janney, Christian Challoner, Kieran Forrest, Steve Lane, Marwan Mafta, Tim Brokaw, and Brian Sohn. It's about quality, not quantity. And our 13 drivers come off the hairpin as we go green in Sonoma. And Josh Clogg miles ahead of the rest of the field as Matt Kingsbury gets by Fanning, going up the hill into turn 1, into turn 2. Clogg loves this. Who does not like this is David Bush. He has lost positions to Fanning, Schofield, Janney, and the inside of Janney. He did not lose to Fanning. I lost my mind there. But Schofield and Janney battling in the Pro class, in turn 3. David Bush is getting passed by Kingsbury, by Challengers. They all stack it up in 3A.
Turn 4 now. Look at everybody going through that corner. Look at David Bush losing positions. I think that's Christian Challoner who just got ahead of him. He's got to do his best to keep on the tail of Janney. I mean, he only needs to finish 5th now, but, if Janney starts to cruise to the field, his championship hopes might be, in shambles.
Crucially, Kevin Fanning in P3, guys. Go ahead, Chad.
Challoner out of turn number 3 had 2 tires in the grass. Well, you call it grass, but 2 tires off the racing surface. I mean, he was an inch away from just losing control of that car. Incredible save by him, and what a pass he had on Busch.
As Busch falling through the field in the Lamborghini. And like I said, Fanning loves this. Fanning sits 3rd overall. Busch is in 9th, it looks like. Championship goes to Fanning. And all of that work, granted it's 1 lap, but all of that work that he has done out the window. You can't let these guys pull away.
Yeah, indeed you can't right now. It's coming out that final corner. Being described as like a 1/2 of Martinsville as now they come down that straightaway. That's a corner technically. And Christian Challoner, he has some work to do right now. Jenny up to 4th, not in championship clinching position. No, he needs to either win or finish 2nd, I believe.
Clog, Kingsbury. Jenny looks to the inside of Fanning there, exiting 2 into 3 into 3A, and that corner's very deceiving. Schofield nearly runs into the back of the 113 into turn 5.
And I think if you're guys like Schofield, you have to know what these guys around you are racing for. You don't want to be the guy that decides a championship that you're not even in the fight for. So if you're guys like David Schofield or the Kingsburys, you need to realize, hey, these guys are racing for something much bigger than I am. Just let them go.
Will Janney peek to the inside of Fanning in the 68? No. Ray Kingsbury to the inside of Schofield. Challoner peeks to the inside of Schofield. Schofield loses 2 positions in the matter of 1 corner. But David Busch off the pace compared to Fanning. Fanning ran a 36.5 last lap. Granted, it was the first lap. But David Busch ran a 38.9. Chad, if you can look at the live feed, I'm going to take a look and see if I can find what happened to
There goes
Busch.
Jenny. Jenny got around. He's up to 3rd now, maybe.
Michael Janney working his way up through the field, but Ray Kingsbury going to follow through there as well. And just absolutely it's just a game of follow the leader for these guys. Christian Challoner follows Ray Kingsbury through every single time, just says, thank you very much, I will take that position. Even though Ray Kingsbury opened the door, they go up the hill now, and that is Challoner now getting around Fanning.
And that puts him into he clinches now. Or he can, if he just holds on here, it doesn't matter what Jenny does, he's got the championship.
And he has already gapped Fanning by quite a considerable margin. He is now under pressure from Schofield. And if Fanning does get passed by Schofield there in the 27, we're going to be tied for that championship that we were talking about, because that's the 1 position, 2-point difference. So that would put Busch on the tiebreaker in the AM class. So that battle is the one to watch right there. It might be the battle for the 5th or 6th position, but that is the battle for the championship. And he's going to peek to the inside.
Oh,
wow.
that is exciting. Schofield wants to get by. He's got the pace over Fanning. If I'm Fanning, I say, Schofield, just sit there. Don't do anything, because David Busch is closing in. As we ride on board, at least we rode on board for a moment. Car number 32, the Lunatic Racing Lamborghini of David Busch.
Such a fantastic paint job nonetheless. I love that metallic pink, fuchsia, magenta, purple, whatever you want to call it. But that's such a great color. It's the metallic / chrome with the matte white accents, and it is phenomenal. As we're 5 minutes into this race, we see, is that Kingsbury and... Yes, Kingsbury and Challoner still battling very hard. I thought that Challoner had the position for a moment, but no, Ray Kingsbury still holding on to that 4th spot.
Yeah, you gotta wonder, does Challoner know he can clinch right now? Is he gonna try and push harder and maybe risk it, or if I was him, I might hold on if I knew that like championship's mine if I just hold this spot right here.
One thing that I am blown away by, Clog and Kingsbury are out and away. Janney is a second faster than Clog. And Challoner on the rear wing of the inaugural champion, Ray Kingsbury, going down the drag strip into turn number 7. Diving it in. Kingsbury's going to run it wide, leaving plenty of room in the 25. Pinch him on the curb nearly. Challoner can't get it done. We look at Kieran Forrest, who has closed the gap with David Busch, but Schofield still trying to get by Fanning.
And look how hard that Christian Challoner is pushing. He wants to get by Kingsbury. He knows he has the faster car. It just depends on when he can do it, because if you look now, he's about 4 car lengths back.
Kingsbury dipped his left rears into the sand. I'm not going to call it grass. It's closer to sand than it is because it's dead grass. But anyways, Kingsbury dipped it off, and I was worried that he was going to lose it, but he did not, and he holds the spot over Challoner. I'm keeping an eye, like I said, on this AM class battle. Fanning, right now, has only tied it, so he has to make sure that Forrest gets by Bush.
He is right now. Yeah.
Forrest nearly into Bush in turn 2.
That was such a close call right there going in turn 2. I mean, what can you say about that? Just almost descend there, and there you see Tim Brokaw on a 67 in that in the lone Ford GT. He's
really
close
late
now
on the brakes. Was the
happens.
Ferrari of Kieran Forrest.
Yeah, that 67 of Brokaw, that 67 is teammates with the 68, so if he can get a move down there, I mean, if he can get a couple of positions up and get around Bush, that would be very helpful.
Schofield inside of Fanning. Checks him in turn 7, and Bush to the inside! Schofield had to get by. He forced his way through, checked Fanning out of the way, and the championship has turned again.
Wow, an incredible double overtake there, losing 2 positions in the hairpin. Let's take a look back at the replay.
As down the drag strip they were going, Schofield really dove it in, going into turn 7, really outbroke himself, straight line the corner right there, checks him out wide, and that messes up Fanning's line and gives Bush those positions.
Yeah, so now not only does Fanning have to get around Bush, he has to get around Schofield or have somebody else get around Bush as well, because if they finish one spot apart, as we mentioned in the pre-race, if they finish one position apart, it's still going to be a tie. The championship still goes to Bush.
We're not missing anything up front. Clog ahead of Kingsbury. Janney has caught up as we look at, well, at least we looked for a moment at Forrest in between the 2 Matco Tools cars.
Yeah, we talked about the championship right now. I don't think we've ever actually... I don't know if we explained the context behind the tiebreaker here, but David Bush does have... Okay, apparently we did, but just to refresh for anybody new. David Bush has 3 fourth places over the course of the season. Kevin Fanning has best finish of 5th, so there you go. I mean, David Bush has it just by virtue of best finish.
I'm going to correct you. The class is down to wins. So Bush has 3 wins. Fanning has no wins. So that's how that tiebreaker is done. For overall, it's wins, and so they don't have any wins, so it'd be best finish.
Yeah, there you go. You see, I don't pay attention to this kind of stuff. That's why I need you to.
It is okay.
That's why you have us here in the booth with you. It's okay.
Thank you,
Kingsbury got a terrible run off of turn 11. Janney peeks to the inside.
Fiercely forward sandwich there with the meat of it being the Kingsbury, and now he's going to have Christian Chandler charging up behind him as Christian Chandler has gotten around Ray, and now he's got to fight with Matt.
Stop for a second. God, Matt's paint scheme is absolutely beautiful this week. I know it wasn't... I think he swapped over last week, but and it's obviously running the lone Porsche here, and it is just beautiful.
It's a very similar scheme. Yeah, it used to be a darker, and it didn't have the silver. It was so it did have the silver to it, and it's a much more aggressive jaws, chopping at the bit there for Matt Kingsbury, but now he's got to deal with Christian Chandler just charging hard up behind him, and there you see the trademark, basically polygon colors of Ray Kingsbury in the 25.
And Janney sits in second, but we look at the AM class. Forrest defends in turn 7 on Brokaw. Brokaw can't make it happen in the 4GT.
See that 4GT
the lone 4GT in the field, and he is pushing hard.
I'm gonna roast you on air, Victor Vallee. You said before this that this race was not going to be exciting. I knew that was a lie. The lie detector determined that was a lie.
That is just like the cake in Portal.
The cake is not a lie. And I can say that. Portal's 15 years old. If you haven't played it, get over it. Welcome to the Nitro Circus Twitch, everyone. As something that I haven't done today's show. Charley Daniels, how is Twitchland while we have a little bit of downtime?
Thanks, Josh. No spoilers, please. The Twitch chat is completely silent tonight. Their jaws are on the floor and they're just watching the race unfold. I keep prodding them, but I can't get them to talk. Hopefully by the time you check in with me again, we'll have some amazing quotes worthy of our walls in our homes. Back to you guys.
This will eventually be in the Library of Congress, and future civilizations will also wonder why you were so quiet. Says Charley Daniels in chat. Clog, Janny, Challenger gets by Matt now, so all that hype over the Pro Championship pretty much out the window. But Fanning still has work to do. He was a 10th of a second faster, actually 300, sorry, faster than Busch last lap.
I have a suggestion for next time we come back to this track. I think we all need to put on our best suits and have a great big old bottle of red wine as we commentate this championship battle.
I'm more of a whiskey guy, but I could do that.
I'm never drinking again.
I mean, you're like 14 years old. You've never drank before in your life. It's okay.
You're right. I haven't.
You know, guys, as I'm going to go ahead and jump on air here for just a moment, I think what's needed is a jump. I don't know about you guys, but I think there needs to be a jump.
You know, there's a series that does jumps, right? And it's called the Sim Racer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge.
Yeah, and I heard it runs on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, there's this guy that always screams about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. He seems like a real jerk, that guy.
Yeah.
And if you guys talk about jumps, I mean, there's a song by Van Halen that's perfect for that.
Oh, absolutely there is. And speaking of things that are perfect, this battle is pretty good right now between Kevin Fanning and Kieran Forrest.
It's Kieran Big Dog Forrest to correct you, I'm sorry.
And no Forrest flat-out facts during this race. If he was giving us facts, it'd be very questionable. As Forrest, hounding the back of the Ferrari, the Matco Tools Ferrari, had a glimpse of the championship, and it all came unglued when Schofield dove in on that position, in that corner that they're just going through. David Busch, 2/10 slower last lap, and I'm not sure what's going on with Fanning.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I mean, we'll see what happens. And I'm kind of looking at the scoreboard right now. Jenny has closed in quite a fair bit on Josh Clogg, but he definitely has not made it easy to get around him. If you want to take a look at the front there, yeah, there's your three leaders coming across the start-finish line. Don't know what lap we're on because I'm not paying attention to it. And
lap 10.
This is lap number 10 now.
Lap 10. There we go. Double digits as they come into turn 2 now. I mean, just
on
look
the
at how
curb
close.
was Gianni. Got a little bit squirrely. Challenger. If I was Challenger and I'm pushing, I mean, I'd be worried that I might make a mistake and lose the gaps that I have because, I mean, realistically, there's a huge gap even if you were to make a mistake. We look at Forrest to the inside, peaked on Fanning. Doesn't make anything happen in turn 3.
Very defensive line there, and Kieran Big Dog Forrest is fighting, trying to get around him. Oh, was there contact there? That was very close.
Yeah.
He almost hit my face on the back bumper of that car. That's the CubeCast logo on the corners there.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. We're learning together today.
He asked permission before the season started. I completely forgot about it until I just see my little logo there in the corners. Shout out to Matco Tools for running my picture on their car.
Turn 7, Fanning defending on Forrest, but I wouldn't worry too much about Forrest. I'd attempt to try and pull away. Just forget about the mirror that you have. You drive and focus on your rival that's in front of you.
Yeah, but I think the problem is it's tough to focus on what's in front if the guy behind you is hounding you.
The biggest thing there, though, is that there's a huge gap from Busch to Schofield, and once Fanning gets around Busch, he has to find a way around Schofield.
As we look at Challenger battling Clogg with live pictures. Challenger on the ring. I'm well aware that it's a replay, thank you, but I'm looking.
Look at the
was it
send.
teammates?
Yeah, that was
like they switched positions, so Clogg with Challenger now.
Wow.
Challenger
I'm going to deny that.
close.
I don't think that's the case with like team order or anything, because we know Jenny and Clogg do not talk to each other during the race. I think it's just Jenny just absolutely sends it and left nothing for Clog to over Clog to go.
It's such a late line, but I just noticed you have a very late apex going down the hill there. Jenny holds a decent lead, 7/10 over Clog. Challenger peeks to the inside on Clog in the 199. Fiercely forward, McLaren's going to give plenty of room to the Audi. Off at turn 7, Challenger clears him.
Very respectful racing. That's what you love to see. You know that you're not in this championship battle. You don't want to just give your teammate the championship by taking him out. And phenomenal racing from all three of those guys at the front of this field.
1/10 was the difference between Busch and Fanning last lap, half a tenth. So Fanning has to find something to get past Busch. Kieran Forrest, 131.816, Fanning 635.
Absolute big dog Forrest just hounding the back of everybody in front of him. He likes to turn the pressure up and turn it up to 11. He just sends it every corner he can, and he wants every position. He might not be in those championship battles, and that's a perfect phrase that we just heard from our producer, the big dog into a hound dog. I was calling him the little pup earlier, but man, he is just fighting so hard out there on track. Gotta love this dude. I'll be watching SRX with him on Saturday, and man, these guys are so much fun to watch out here on the track. What an absolute corner cut, though. You can't cut the track like that. That's got to be a slowdown.
He thought the curb was a jump. Kieran, the track on the rallycross goes the other way. I know you like to do that, but comes over voice chat. And Schofield in the 27 in the carousel gets past. That doesn't help for the championship for Fanning at least. But it looks like he clipped the grass.
Clipped the grass.
That was a weird one.
Oh, look how close he got. Oh, there he is. And
that's
there
a
we go
weird
back
one.
to-
That's a very interesting place to lose control there as well. The corner and the elevation change wants to take you the other direction. I've never seen a car get that high up on the hill, but man, what a fantastic save.
Yeah.
Jenny was 4/10 up last lap on Challenger. We'll see when they rotate around what these lap times will be. Just under 27 minutes. Janny, 130.4, 129.7 for Challenger. We look at the lap times as well for the AM class. 131.6 for Busch, 131.4 for Fanning. We'll refresh them as they cross the start-finish line to end lap number 12, 131.8 to a 132 even, so 2/10 up for Busch.
And last lap, Christian Challenger, 129.759, the fastest lap of the race. That's compared to a 130.4 for your leader, Michael Janney. He is closing in there as well.
Pushing it wide in the carousel, but he apexes a little bit wider, does Janney in the 113. Challenger gets the slipstream down the drag strip into turn 7. I feel like Challenger's going to follow him through the S's and sneak it away in turn 11 and romp away with this win.
Do these cars have nitrous?
They do not, but I know Challenger drives like he has it.
He's been pushing everywhere. The way that he makes up ground, especially the launch off the corner, it makes it seem like he's got maybe a little bit of that IndyCar push to pass. Maybe he has an extra couple seconds in the bag that he can use here at the end of the race.
So deep on the brakes. And this corner, of course, it's the final corner. But being the final corner, and especially a hairpin, it's very misleading because you can close up your gap, obviously, and then when the car pulls away, you're like, dang it, I just lost all that advantage. I know that's one thing that would affect me when I raced here.
The biggest thing for me about that corner is Michael Janney. Every time he enters that, he hits the cone at pit entry, and I really have to feel bad for the guy that has to go out there and replace that cone.
You know, I wrote in the rulebook not to hit the Patricks, but apparently he did not catch the memo.
That's okay. We'll let it slide.
Off the road goes Janney, 4 off in turn 4, trying to stay ahead of Challenger. Last lap, he was half a tenth up.
Wide. Oh,
Inside of Janney goes Challenger, trying to take the championship in style. Slipstream down the drag strip. Will he peek to the inside in turn 7? Backs up the corner. Will Janney push it wide? No, he won't. Will Challenger get a better run off the corner? We'll have to see. Down the S's. And we go back to the hairpin on lap 14.
Through the S's right now. That's 7A. Wait, what's that? Okay. And we're coming down through where the IndyCar chicane is, the worst chicane in motorsports. We're not taking that, thankfully. We're doing the whole S's, coming through turn 10 into turn 11 now, going down the straightaway. Oh, Kenny Challenger gonna run here. No cone action there. Here comes Challenger, closing way up and not gonna be able to make a run off of it.
My favorite moment about that final corner, that hairpin, was back in 2011 when Brian Vickers took out Tony Stewart and Tony just got stuck on those tires. Absolutely fantastic moment from that phenomenal last corner.
And then Tony Stewart gets his redemption in 2016 for his last NASCAR Cup Series win against Denny Hamlin. He lost that lead in turn 7 and took it in the final corner, so certainly gives you the opportunity to make a dive bomb. One guy that's not going to be dive bombing is Kevin Fanning. He was a 10th faster than Busch that last lap, but as we look at the gap, 1.2 seconds for the AM class points leaders. Christian Challenger 2/10 away from Janney and Pro.
He is right now. You see Challenger doing the same one he did before, all the way to the inside. He's going to try his best to get it to do the move he was trying there before. He's closer than he's ever been. He's going to move to the outside now.
That's not the way we see that move made. And oh my goodness, he's gonna have the runoff. He didn't get it there. He's still on the outside. Plenty of room from Janney. Just the power move from Christian Challenger.
Oh, they really come together in the S's. I thought that Janney was going to close the door. Side by side of the championship rivals. We might not have a championship battle, but we certainly have a race battle down into turn 10. Side by side, very hard to get that right. They do. Down the short chute into turn number 11. Janney holds the spot. Will he defend on Challenger? Kills the Patricks again. Runs it wide. He's going to get the run off the corner, but will Challenger clear him by a mile?
What a move that was by Challenger. Went side by side all the way through the S's, and then Janney just not able to hold off through that thing. I wonder if the cones maybe hurt some arrow there.
Guys. Kevin Fanning is disconnected.
Yeah, he was involved in contact. I heard him coming over the radio. It looks like he was involved with contact possibly with Marwan Mafta, because Mafta has disconnected as well.
Oh, wow. No, it was Forrest. It was Kieran.
Oh, no.
Kieran dive bombs in turn 4 and takes Fanning out.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Because Marwan Mafta...
Unrelated Marwan spun in turn 2 and plowed into the concrete.
Yeah,
so
we talked about that in the pre-race. Just that uphill section, it likes to upset the car. But man, that's unfortunate contact there for Kieran Forrest. Especially though for Kevin Fanning, you have to feel for both of those drivers. That's just an unfortunate way to end the season.
Really is. Now we look ahead now. That Christian Challenger, our leader, pulling away from his championship bridesmaid right there.
Ray Kingsbury off the track in the S's and backs it into the fence. And the inaugural champion off the road. He got really loose over the curbs and lost it. Here comes his brother in the Porsche. Ray's going to stay out wide. I think he's got suspension. He's got suspension.
Yeah, there's no way he can finish this race.
Something's broke in the 25. So the inaugural champion takes it to the pit lane. So now let's reset it here, boys. Challenger, Janney, Clog, Kingsbury, and David Busch. As, of course, we will crown them officially at the end of the race, but unofficially, Challenger and Busch, our champions this season.
Yeah, I mean, this race has become one of attrition, really. So, I don't know. Let's see what happens with Janney. I mean, Janney and Challenger, that might not be over if we're saying how many guys are just falling out with problems. If Challenger has a problem, that's Janney.
Kieran looks on Brokaw now. This is for 6th.
He's already taken out one Matt Coutule's car. Can he make it 2?
Turn 4.
Some shade thrown there by our Chad Irvine right there.
Oh, boy.
Some real shade thrown there by Chad Irvine. Not going to be happy. Kieran, Kieran and him are friends. I think he's just mad because he almost took out the CubeCast logo. He did hit the Cube. You're right. Dang. So now I understand why he's mad. There's no kid. This one doesn't have one. So
yeah, you changed manufacturers if I remember correctly, and that took away my logo from that beautiful car.
still it's a very good looking Ford GT there.
Lap 18. Under 20 minutes, about 19 minutes left to go in the championship. Challenger miles away, 2.2 ahead of Michael Janney. Josh Klog sits in third. As we look at this battle for sixth, we certainly aren't missing anything up front, but it has been a wonderful season in both NASA championships, and we've got huge things on the horizon for 2021C. Keep an eye on all of the social media channels. We're going to be going green the first week in August to begin the 24th season of NASA Rallycross, and already the 4th season of GT Racing Sports Car Challenge here in NASA.
Yeah, we see them.
It's been a fun 4th season to watch. Every season has come down to the last race in one championship or another. And I can't wait to see where it goes from here because, of course, we've talked about it week in and week out. That Rallycross League, that's been going on for basically a decade now, right? So
correct.
We see Ray Kingsbury in the pits. Unfortunately, it looks like his day is done. This series in general always puts on a fantastic show, right down to the wire every single week.
As we do actually have special guest Ray Kingsbury as Chad. I wonder if you'd like to speak to the guy who just backed it into the fence.
Ray, first of all, what happened?
I was going really, really fast, and the track was actually gripping up because we were losing the fuel load a little, so we were getting faster. And normally I stay 4th through the S's, and I had the RPM to shift up to 5th, so I shifted up mid-corner, and it just caused it to bog big time. And I caught a little hop in the grass, and it just couldn't save it.
You won.
So, yeah.
You won the first time that we were here in at Sonoma in the GTs, and this time, unfortunately, it doesn't go the same way. But what are your thoughts on the battles out there on track right now? It looks like everybody, for the most part, keeping things relatively clean.
Yeah, I mean, the track's really fun in these GT3 cars. There's not really much of a difference between them and the GTEs when you drive them. Here, actually, carousel's a little more mechanical based, but everything else pretty much feels really nice, really similar. Definitely probably one of the most fun tracks we've been to all season. I was having a real good battle with Josh in the first heat, the sprint, and then I don't know if there was some net code or something in that incident, but we were having a real good battle.
And what do we have? Should we expect to see you, I would assume, back here for next season? Because we've seen you in the first 3. We have to see you back for round 4.
Yeah, I don't know. We're evaluating options right now. We really liked driving the GTE package. It was more of our strength. I like a little more aero on my cars, so I really do like these cars, the GT3s. They're good racing. I mean, I just was having a great battle with Josh, great battle with Challenger. But I it's on my agenda to keep racing them possibly, but I also considering maybe something off the track as well to see what I can do to help grow this series in particular.
Well, hey, man, thanks for jumping up here in the booth, and sorry about the way your night finished up.
Yeah, I mean, at least I get to watch a very good race between Tim, Kieran, and David here. It's real close.
Hey, best of luck in whatever you decide going forward, but it's been a great season watching you, man.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely be seeing each other for some open wheel action, I'm sure.
That's Ray Kingsbury, driver of the number 25 machine for Team Spark. Man, what a fantastic battle, as you mentioned, these guys are putting on throughout this race.
Because half of me just wants to step away and say, you got it. Because I've been listening the entire time, and it's glorious, so...
well, hey, you know what? I can take over for you the rest of the way. Oh, darn.
I'm still going to be here. It's okay. We have some plans, and we're not going to say too much, but you might not be hearing me in the Sports Car Challenge. You'll hear the dynamic duo of Chad Irvine and Mike Berry starting next season. So we've
Throwback.
We have some things potentially in the works. And no, Victor Vallee, I did not throw anything away.
That's a part of the plan. He's talking about releasing the dynamic duo as the plan, but no, there's more plans than just that. We have to see where the road takes us as we look at some of these cars, including that number 44 Big Dog Kieran Forrest driving
Look at that
down the road.
looseness off the 27 right there.
Just a big twitch out the back. Wow.
All right. Speaking of Twitch, how's Twitch Wang doing, Charlie Daniels?
That's a terrible segue. What are you doing? No.
That was a great segue. Chad, shut
I'm
up.
into it. I'm into it. Yeah.
All right. Do we need to get
Thanks,
Linus?
I just want to say some surprises throughout this race, but perhaps the biggest surprise of all, new follower, Crispy Cargo, the first username on Twitch that actually made me hungry. Crispy Cargo. I don't know what it is, guys.
Crispy Cargo. Is that like chicken fries?
It just sounds delicious.
I think of like Cookie Crisp.
Fries.
I thought of cereal. But chicken fries do sound good. I got a Burger King right down the road.
I had McDonald's today. It wasn't bad.
Crispy
And of course,
Cargo.
Mike Berry just eating on stream once again. I think
I'm not
we've
eating on
had this
stream right
discussion.
now. I'm not eating.
I could have swore I heard you eating. Okay.
I'm not eating. I promise.
Normally it's ice cream, but you know, whatever. What a battle this is. This is Kieran Forrest you're looking at, and he's got traffic both in front of and behind him. I wonder if we can't take a look even further back. This battle between Steve Lane and Brian Son for that 9th and 10th position. Those guys on our timing and scoring very close to one another. They're a little ways back from these guys, but man, they are fighting very hard. That's a look there at the 66 of Steve Lane. And right behind him is one of our sponsors. Right behind him is one of our sponsors there of Brian Son with Penguin RC. And that Penguin RC car just looks absolutely fantastic as it has all season long. We have to thank our sponsors for helping us out, giving out some prizes this season and everything they've done for us here in the NASA Sports Car Challenge presented by Nitro Circus with Penguin RC. Josh, what's the official title? You've got this.
The Penguin RC Simulations NASA Sports Car Challenge presented by Nitro Circus.
For the cure.
You see, this is why he's the boss. When I had to do a play-by-play at Belle Isle, I didn't even get half that right. That wasn't
12
really fair.
minutes left in Sonoma, and we are closing up this championship. Many people would say this race is a procession. It's over. It's boring. But you know, it's Victor Vallee. You shut up in my ears. We look right now at Lane and Sohn. This is for 9th overall. This is actually, we only have 10 cars on track because Kingsbury, Fanning, and Mofta are all off the track. Matt Kingsbury slams the wall, exiting the hairpin, so might have lost a couple of teeth as we look through the field.
Someone
5.4 seconds. 5.3 seconds now.
This battle has been going on the entire race, it seems like, with Kieran Forrest, the sandwich between the Tim Brokaw and Schofield.
What could have been for that championship battle, but the contact with Forrest and with Fanning took Fanning out. Running wide is Forrest in the 44. Peaking was Schofield in the 27. Forrest hits the curb, runs it up the hill through 3A once again. Such a tricky corner and this braking zone. When I was in the GTE in the Corvette, it's so easy to lock the rear brakes going into turn 5 because you think that the straightaway is much longer than it is. You think the corner is much wider than it is, but it's such a narrow exit because you're cresting that hill. At least that's me. Maybe there's a reason why I'm not in the car anymore, but Forrest slipstreaming Brokaw. I don't think he's going to get it in turn 7.
Not quite, no. He's going to get right to that bumper, but not going to be able to really seal the deal here. You see, and I'm going to talk for a second about that hairpin there, because I don't get why we don't run the super wide one. Like, why do we have to cut in so early? I get it's because I like the NASCAR circuit, but why? Come on, iRacing, give us that option, pretty please. I want to go to...
Have you... You know what, I have to... Oh, Kieran Forrest way wide! That's
they're all off!
fun.
There goes Schofield.
Is that going to be Schofield making up 2 spots?
Schofield tries it, Forrest!
Oh, there's
Contact! Oh, contact!
I can't believe that.
Big Dog just growling. He's got all bark, no bite right now, though. Did not send anybody on that occasion.
Victor Vallee said it was a procession and it was a boring race, or whatever I said. He agreed to it, but certainly not. Brokaw spins
there he goes.
from 7th.
That's
And the attrition continues. Brokaw, I think he's trying to find reverse, can't find it, and he's off the
He
road.
gives
So
up.
now 9 cars left on track.
Truly a race of, what is it, a third of the cars gone already? Real race of attrition we got here. As now we look at, that's Steve Lane in the 66. We haven't looked at him all race. He's battling with Brian Sohn.
This is like what it would be like if Mr. Mike Berry set up all the cars on the Tour Modified circuit. They'd all be breaking down and not finishing races.
You know, that's what they don't let me touch the Tour car. They only let me touch the SK.
Sohn's going to get the slipstream off of the 6th corner. Peeking to the outside, braking deep is Sohn in the 0-3. Made up huge amounts of time on Lane in the 66.
I think he was trying to cross him over there and just couldn't get the power down. Was Brian Sohn, and that's just going to leave Lane in that 9th position for the time being. And I'm not used to seeing him here in the Lamborghini, but he's making it work for him.
I was just about to ask. I don't think Lane drove the Lamborghini until
I
today.
believe he was driving the Ferrari before. Yeah.
Maybe just because last season he was in the Ford, then he switched to the Ferrari, and now he's in Lamborghini. I think that he knows that he's out of contention for the championship, and he's just trying to get a feel for the cars and see what he might want to do next season. But man, it's been a phenomenal run so far.
As I was questioning what I saw in the silly season banter, Sohn tries to get on the throttle, can't get it done. Because Lane did leave Matco Tools and got back with his team Livewire Sim Sports, so I'm thinking that he's planning on expanding that team next season. Discord links will be throughout chat. I was meaning to post those, but apparently I did not get to doing that, and I apologize there, as we have 9 cars, 7.25 minutes left in the season.
But I was about to say, on the manufacturer change for Steve Lane, he took a trip from Maranello all the way to Santa Gata Bolognese, so not too far of a journey.
I like bolognese. That's my favorite sauce.
As we're gonna pull back Charlie Daniels for one final mid-race Twitch update.
Just a good timing on that one. Crispy Cargo, him or herself, just said, "This is a great broadcast, you guys." Hey, the Twitch username who's making me hungry is also giving us compliments. Love it.
I'm gonna reach around right now and pat myself on the back. Crispy compliments, Krispy Kremes, whatever it is.
I can go for I can really go for Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme's a very dangerous place. Not sponsored. It's a very dangerous place to end up. It's like a block away off the interstate when I drive home from work. I'm surprised I'm not 1,000 pounds.
Yeah. I have to go really out of my way for a Krispy Kreme, so count your blessings.
And back on track, you see him there. That is Ray Kingsbury. He's gotten the damage repaired, and now he is fighting. Is that Big Dog he's right behind?
It's for no positions. It's completely pointless because it's the last race of the season, but I think he just wants to drive.
I think he's supposed to bet.
Wait. What's the quote from What's the quote from Waterboy? Last game of the season, no holding back now.
So, this was Victor Vallee's idea. We're going to have an in-race interview as Ray runs it off the track because of that, Victor.
Very good.
The mechanics put a lot of work in repairing the car, so we decided we'd try to give them a couple hot laps.
You flashed your lights at Kieran. What was that about? Just to mess with him?
He's slow.
You want to bring him in and ask him to go faster?
I already did. He said he would not move out of my way, unfortunately.
The booth is already full. I got my elbows tucked in here, Ray, but man, you're making it look easy out there.
I can't even see at this point.
I could give you guys a walkthrough of what I'm doing if you want.
That sounds great.
Okay, so are you on board?
Yes, we're on board with you.
Okay, so you come through here about 3rd gear. It gets real light at the top of the hill here. Real fun. Brake at the end of the curve down to 2nd, down to 1st, because 2nd gear's too long and you'll just bog for days. You got to try not to understeer off of that grass or it's bye-bye. Car gets real heavy through here because lots of load. Brake at the crest because it unloads and you'll lose the back otherwise. Kieran's parking the apex. Third gear, which is like there's no real good gear for there. It just pushes in
What a
third and
move.
too short in second. We're gonna cut them off because that's what we do. Brake at the top of the little crest here, and if your tires are up to the heat, you don't do that. Down the first, gets real loose on the exit here, and this is the most fun part of the track. The S's, you throw it up into fourth, you just give it a little lift, let it settle the nose, and you're right back on full throttle. I'm up to fifth here, and I usually stay fifth through here, but sometimes I can shift down to fourth. Just a little dab of the brake on the curb, turn it in, it settles the nose. Sometimes it pushes a little, but that was pretty good. Brake right at this cone right here, down to first gear, and McLaren has the best brakes in the world. Look at it go. Little on throttle oversteer in first gear there. And then another fun corner here, which is the first corner. Fifth gear, and there's a little mark in the track here, the bump, like where it's rubbered in, and I lift there to let the nose settle, and then I cut this real close inside. I braked a little too early there. The second gear through there, trying not to power slide it, I must just be that good.
And on that note, we will let you go, finish your race, and we'll close this show up. Thank you, Ray.
You're welcome. It was fun.
What a
Victor Vallee's
fantastic
idea.
onboard. I agree with what Charlie said over in Twitchland, but man, that's something we need to do. Like, have a driver's onboard every single week. Just get a walkthrough basically of every single track that we'll see here from a different driver, maybe every week or something.
If I wasn't a terrible driver in these cars, I'd offer to do it, but
I don't know how to turn right, so it's okay.
Yeah, me too. Me neither. Yeah, so anyway.
Has 2.5 minutes left to go in the season. And Kevin Fanning mentions in the chat, congrats David Bush on the AM championship. He says, I'm sorry that we were allowed to just race it out instead of the BS late lunges from others. So, some shade thrown there. Kingsbury, the inside of Schofield. This means nothing except for Ray bragging that he could dump his car into a wall and still be faster than most of these people. That's Ray for you.
Go fast, turn left. That's what Ray always says.
We're not missing anything for the race lead. Challoner has pulled away. Once again, potentially going to win by 10 seconds. And I keep saying it, but guys, I mean, what a championship that this is. Regardless if the championships really were settled in pro last week, and then unfortunately with contact from another car, but it just shows if you have 40 cars or 10 cars, it's still going to be a great race. We take the white flag in Sonoma for Christian Challoner, trying to make it 2 championships in a row. It was pretty much kind of solidified last week in Homestead, Miami, as Michael Janney had that issue getting passed by Challoner midway through the race. The Briton is the winningest driver in this championship, given the fact that he won, I have it pulled up here, he won 8 races in a row in the AM class, missed 1, Clark Archer won that race in Long Beach.
Wait, no, the streak got broken. Well, we're talking about
just features.
Just features, okay.
Charlotte, he won, and then 5 wins this season so far. It's going to be 6 wins out of 10 or 8 races. I didn't even realize that. Wow. Because only Janney or Munoz were the guys to win a race. As we go through the S's for the final time in Sonoma for the Penguin RC Simulations NASA Sports Car Challenge presented by Nitro Circus. It has been a wonderful season for this partnership between NASA and Nitro Circus. And we have a familiar name on the top step of the podium in the hairpin for the final time. Christian Challoner makes it 6 wins out of 8 races and the 2nd consecutive championship for the Briton. This time, the pro class, he does it in Sonoma. Janney,
flashing the lights, and that's his signature move right there. You see it all the time, but man, he's got that celebration on pat. And Janney trying to make it look good, but not quite as good as the number 7 of Christian Challoner.
As what a season that he had as well, not discrediting the Fiercely Forward boys. They won the Constructors' Championship. As Janney 2nd, 3rd is Clog, 4th, it looks like will be Matt Kingsbury. Switching to the Porsche might not have been a bad idea for the man from Connecticut as he comes home one spot off the podium, but he does win. He does win in the AM class in the Porsche. And David Bush off the hairpin will come home second in the AM class, but he is your champion in the AM category here in Sonoma in the Sports Car Challenge. Schofield comes home 6th. 7th is Forrest. This battle for 8th is not over between Lane and Sohn. We got one corner left. Sohn tries it, can't get it done. So Lane will come home in 8th in the Lamborghini. 9th Sohn. 10th Brokaw. 11th Kingsbury. 12th Moftaw. And 13th Kevin Fanning.
Speaking of Krispy Kreme, we got some Christian Challenger doughies going on there down the backstretch, and man, it's making it look easy.
As like we do for the pre-race show and the warm-up show, I will toss the baton back to either Chad Irvine or Charlie Daniels, and we'll wrap this thing up with a post-race show.
We got a couple interviews we're gonna wait on. We gotta wait for the guys to get in here. I know Christian Challenger is gonna do his celebratory donuts, and he'll be in here in a couple of minutes. It looks like we might have an interview with a couple other drivers as well. It was a fantastic season all along, just from everybody. But Charlie, I mean, it's your first season here with us. What were your thoughts on your first bit of time here?
Yeah, thanks, Chad. I just want to say huge congrats to our pro class champion and our AM class champion. That's pro class. That's Christian Challenger. AM class. That's David Bush. Great driving all season. And I just wanted to say that, I think a huge congrats needs to go out to this broadcast team too, ASN and NASA. As the Nitro Circus representative here, I just want to say this partnership has been absolutely incredible, and we hope we can keep it going for the foreseeable future, guys. This is tons of fun, and it's just going to get bigger and better as we go.
I was gonna say, we still have, we're sounding like everything's over for the next foreseeable future. We still have one more race here with you guys this week. We've got the Rallycross on the Wednesday, but man, it's been a fun show so far, and I can't wait to see not only this next race on Wednesday, but the foreseeable future. We've got that Tuesday Summer Series coming up. We've got 2021 Season C. Both in Rallycross and GTs, and man, it's going to be a absolute blast to watch. Definitely. Everybody out here.
Yes, and yeah, good call on that. Just while we're talking about that Wednesday broadcast, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's the finale of the Rallycross Challenge. First time we're showing it here on Nitro Circus Twitch. We couldn't be prouder of hosting that, and man, I can't wait to see how that racing goes down on Wednesday.
Yeah, and I mean, what's going on over in Twitch? Things look pretty quiet. Looks like for the most part.
Yeah, this happens a lot on these Monday night races. Chat is too busy watching the action to get involved in a conversation. But everyone's super stoked, and I think this time around, especially, the battles down the ticket were keeping people occupied. There's a lot to watch, a lot to take in. So we appreciate all the people hanging out, regardless of whether they're active in chat. But we also love to hear from you. So don't be shy if you're out there.
All right. Well, it looks like we've got a couple of interviews lined up for us as well. It looks like we're going to start out here with our first interview tonight with our AM winner in class tonight. That's going to be Matt Kingsbury. See if we can't get him in here real quick.
Before I let you begin, Chad, I just want to say, Matt Kingsbury, I forgot to mention, 3 wins in a row in the AM class. I just want to mention that.
Matt, how does it make you feel?
Oh, I felt pretty good. Since switching to the Porsche, felt really confident in the car. And it gels with my driving style better than the McLaren did. But we still got a lot to learn about it.
Yeah, what was the biggest thing about the change? I mean, that's something that really, I'm sure, wasn't an easy choice to make.
Yeah, I mean, the McLaren has aspects that suit my driving style. I like something that's very, good in the corners. But it's just the way that it is doesn't suit my driving style. It's just really hard to describe it. And then with the Porsche, you could see it really here, for example, turns 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it was. First half of the track, basically. I was closing probably like half a second on Josh Clogg, who was in a McLaren. So
Yeah, and I mean, looking forward, it's been a phenomenal 3 seasons here. I expect that we'll see you back for a 4th.
yeah, we'll have the dirty sport team here back. I think we'll be probably running Porsches. We're gonna hope to add a little stable of cars, or at least a few more. Yeah, just really looking forward to being competitive next season. I think we found something that works for us, and really just need things to fall our way next season. Not have any run-ins with individuals that lack racecraft. Really.
All right, man. Well, hey, as we wrap things up here for the season in GT, anybody want to thank? Any shout-outs for you?
Yeah, just check out virtualracing.network for some broadcasts here and there for iRacing stuff. Been helping out over there with commentary a little bit, and they got some really good broadcasts. Check them out.
Well, hey, thanks for joining us up here in the booth, and congratulations on your 3rd consecutive win in the AM class. That's Matt Kingsbury, driver of the number 21, recently switching over his manufacturer. And now, next up in the booth, it looks like, Mike, you've caught up with Michael Janney.
Yeah, Mike Janney, you had a very good race today, but you came up just a little bit short both in the race and the championship. I mean, take us through. Yeah, let's start with the race. Take us through that.
Yeah, thanks for having me in here. Yeah, so I was looking at Christian pretty much because I knew that if I had any chance of winning the championship, I'd have to get my car in front of his. And in the sprint, I knew right away that it was going to be a hell of a challenge to do it because he had about 1/10.5 to 2/10 on me pretty much every single lap. Not to mention the fact that watching him go through some of the corners in the Audi, it seemed like it was able to get back to power slightly earlier without understeering. So I felt like my only shot was to pray that something went amok for him in the future. But I didn't want that to happen, put it that way. But I knew that was my only chance. But yeah, sprint was a lot of fun. Going into the future, I guess I made some ballsy moves because I knew that I needed to get through the pack as quick as possible. Because every feature event this season, Christian's been able to put his car in front of mine when we're going through the traffic. So I wanted to try to be that first person to go through it. So, little mini goal, but definitely got that accomplished. But yeah, great track, great fun. Warmer track, which I usually struggle with for consistency, and I think Christian nailed the consistency today because he was like untouchable out there. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, then we talk about championship. You think going into this, like, what was your mindset? Was it just stay out front? Was it just to pray for? I mean, you kind of already talked about it for the race, but like with the race, is there anything you're looking back on, like even for just the last couple of weeks, that could have possibly changed its outcome? Maybe.
I mean, maybe the only thing that could have swayed it a little bit was having a better result at Summit and Brands Hatch because I struggled with the car there. Maybe it would have been a little bit closer, but I honestly don't think it would have been a huge difference because remember Christian missed an entire round, so like if he participated in that one, even if I had a better result, I still think he was the quicker driver overall, and I have no doubt he would have won the championship regardless.
Indeed. And here's one. Are you happy with you chose the McLaren and you stuck with it through the whole season? You happy with that car? You maybe gonna do it if we come back next season, or are you gonna swap the car up a little bit?
No, I will not be running the McLaren again. It's a chore to keep on the road correctly, first of all, and then on top of that, pretty much any sort of off-roading is such a hassle to try to keep the car under control. A good example is going into turn 3 on this track. I watched as the Audi, Porsche, and what was the other one? The Lamborghini, yeah. They all were able to widen the corner entry by dropping their right tires off on the dirt slightly. If you do that in the McLaren, you have to like correct the car from the most rapid snap oversteer on the planet. So yeah, I think going into next season, it would probably have to be the Lamborghini because I feel like it's just an easier version of the Audi.
Yeah, and I guess to wrap it up, man, anybody want to thank any sponsors, family, etc.?
Yeah, family's always watching. Also, thanks to Fiercely Forward, Spark LLM for giving me the ride this season. My teammate Josh for always helping with preparation, setups, all that stuff. You guys over in the broadcast booth doing this every week. And I mean, honestly, credit to Christian because he made this series really fun for me because he was always the challenge. He was always the guy to beat. So it's, yeah, I mean, without him, this season would not have been as fun as it was for me. So good stuff.
All right, thank you very much, Michael Janney. Came home second place in the race, second place in the championship. Very respectable result, but maybe a little bit of heart. So we're gonna pull in David Bush next, I believe. Our AM champion, David Bush. You got a copy?
Loud and clear.
All right, you came home, and what a success! What a close championship battle you had coming in here. We're tied going in, and you managed to squeak ahead and get the championship. Take us through that race, man.
Yeah, I mean, I just did the usual, just keep it on the track, no mess ups, and then try to go as fast as I need to go.
Yeah, I mean, you were very strong there. I mean, I guess when you were coming into it was like a mindset you had. I mean, Kevin is no slouch in terms of racing. Like, what's the
I just wanted to make sure that I was going to get some bonus points from the sprint race. I knew if I could push hard in the sprint race, I could give myself some kind of buffer on points going into the feature race, even though I know the invert's kind of crazy. And I mostly let all the invert drivers behind us go like lap 2 or 3.
And you obviously didn't come home with the you won the championship. You didn't win the race. I mean, was there anything you maybe had for Matt, or were you just riding it out once you saw Kevin
I was completely riding it out as soon as I got in front of Kevin. I was just trying to maintain a gap away from him, and that was pretty much my whole race.
Yeah, and unless Chad has anything to say, I guess we can get ready to wrap it up. Get ready to wrap that one up. Does anybody you want to thank? Sponsors, sponsor, family, team, etc. Man.
Just Lunatic Racing. Congrats to Christian and Matt on their respective wins in both the championship and that race. And then shout out to my pant maker as always, Colin McKenzie.
Okay, wait. That was supposed to be the last question, but I do have one more. I mean, you stuck with the Lambo throughout the whole season. You planning on sticking with that if you come back with us?
Always.
Alrighty then. Yes, that thing looked very fast on that gorgeous pink and white paint scheme. There's David Bush III coming home with his first ever AM class championship in NASA sports cars. So thank you very much, Dave, for coming here, and we're about to pull in our champion. I'm going to let Chad Irvine take over for that.
Christian Chandler joining us now up in the booth. Christian, I mean, back-to-back champion. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, kind of going in, I knew that obviously I didn't actually have to win. So pole and winning the sprint was kind of most of the job done, I felt, because obviously that opened up the gap a little bit more. But in the main, it was kind of I got to third, and I was like, I could kind of just chill here, but yeah, I like to win races, so I was like, no, I'm going for it. And it's a lot of fun. I really got to give Michael a shout out for the season, to be honest, because it's been a ton of fun racing against him. And I mean, at the beginning, he was basically just killing me in qualifying every week. I couldn't beat him for qualifying pace. So kind of the end of the season where that flipped around is pretty cool, because I knew that was something I was actually weak on. So that was fun to be able to improve that way. And to be honest, if he hadn't have been basically soundly beating me in qualifying, probably wouldn't have done that. So got to give him a shout out for that, for basically making me better. It's been a lot of fun to race against him the whole season long. I mean, I feel like we've been really, really close. The last couple of weeks, I think finally me and the Audi are friends. So that's pretty cool too. Yeah, not a whole lot actually to say, really. Just a lot of fun. That side by side I had with Michael was actually really, really fun. It was a little risky because I kind of knew that that was like an opportunity that probably wasn't going to come up again, and like I had the position and I knew that he was kind of strung out of that hairpin. So I was wondering if I was even going to be able to stay alongside him, because that's really where he was better than me, is basically acceleration out of tight corners. So I didn't actually expect that I was going to be able to stay fully alongside him, but I was, and then it really got interesting because obviously we were having to go through the kind of the pinch point side by side, and that gave me the opportunity, and he made a slight mistake down into the final corner, and that kind of gave it to me. But it was a lot of fun. It was cool to be able to do that. There's not that many people that you can run side by side like that with and kind of not end up in a wreck, you know?
It was a fantastic battle to watch for sure. I have to ask, it's something we talked about a lot during your first season here in NASA. You finally got to run it for a full season. What were your thoughts on that invert?
The invert's great. I really like it. I think it makes it a lot of fun. It's kind of a good way for me to learn for sure, because it's actually a really good way of getting an idea of cars' strengths and weaknesses, and actually opponents' strengths and weaknesses as well, because you know, like you kind of have to pass the same people pretty much every week, and you sort of learn, and it did in a way get easier kind of as the season went on, because you sort of knew what you couldn't get away with, and also where you were likely to be strong relative to other people. So I really like the invert. I hope it stays. It definitely makes the feature more enjoyable, I think.
And you know, is something you've mentioned a couple times during these post-race interviews. You talked about using the Audi this season as a learning tool. Did you learn from it? And if so, what did you learn?
Um, yeah, I think I did actually in the end. I kind of said that I sort of didn't, I think a couple of interviews back, but I kind of did, because it's one of those cars where I've always kind of found it really, really edgy, and it's not really been the most fun thing to race in a serious race, just because of that for me. I tend to be actually pretty conservative in races, so having something that I was worried was going to kill me was not really amazing. But kind of by the end of the season, it really didn't feel that way actually. I'd sort of gotten used to it, and I kind of figured out exactly how to deal with it in those situations. And I mean, towards the end of the race here, I was pretty confident that there was a real fast lap in there, and I was really going for it, and it didn't ever really cross my mind that, hey, this car was trying to kill you so much that you probably want to back off. I was pretty content to just get after it, and that's kind of been the way actually since probably about Detroit. I definitely think the first couple of races this season, so Sebring and Watkins Glen, those were really, really tricky. Sebring, obviously, I had Nicholas behind me trying to run me down, and that didn't help things. But Watkins Glen, the car felt super nervous. It was never really under me. So it's interesting how that turned around. And I think I've got a pretty good line on how you got to drive the thing now, and what it's good at, and whatnot. And yeah, it's pretty good actually. Have to say.
I say that leagues like this, we couldn't do it without our sponsors. We of course have to thank Penguin RC for their contributions. You've racked up quite a little tab there that you can spend over at Penguin RC. Anything you've got your eye on for them?
I was actually looking at their site a couple of weeks ago, because I kind of remembered that. I'd honestly totally forgotten until Brian posted kind of about like mid-season total, I think it was, of what people had kind of won so far. And I was like, oh yeah, it's actually quite a bit of stuff. For sure, I think if I still played around with a bunch of RC cars and whatnot, that's definitely where I'd be going across to. But regarding button boxes and whatnot, there's some really cool stuff on there. I'd definitely have a look and kind of probably pick something out. And if not for myself, probably pick something out for a friend.
Well, hey, congratulations! Yet another championship. As we always wrap things up here, anybody you want to thank who helped get you here, or maybe other streamers or anybody to shout out?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to basically everybody involved with the league. It was really cool to kind of come back with GT3, obviously slightly different format with the invert, which I think was pretty heavily demanded. So that was really cool. It's been really fun. Actually, something that I probably should say is both in the NASA Discord and on my own Discord, I'm going to upload the entire setup folder that I used this season. there's some good stuff in there, I think. So probably want to take a look at Homestead and Sonoma. I think those are pretty handy. There's some not so good stuff in there, so you're probably not gonna find Watkins to be that great, maybe, but definitely gonna be there in case anybody wants to have a look. And that's got all my setups in it from basically the endurance qualifying and the sprint setups, so you can kind of see what I do between them. Answer is really not that much, if I'm honest. It's mostly fuel and ride heights, but yeah, you can have a poke around and give them a run and see what you think. And they're honestly exactly what I ran in those races. I save them once the session's done, and that's kind of it. So they're exactly 100% what I ran, and they'll be available in my Discord and the NASA Discord. And beyond that, just shout out to you guys for running the broadcasts. It's really great to watch. I always actually go back and watch all the broadcasts from every league I'm in, so that's pretty cool to be able to do that. Appreciate that. And a shout out again to Michael just for really pushing me for the entire season. It was a ton of fun to race against him.
Well, hey, congratulations on yet another championship and your win here tonight, and hopefully we'll see you back here for next season.
Thank you.
That's Christian Chandler, both winner tonight and the overall champion in yet another GT season here over in NASA, presented by Nitro Circus. As we wrap things up here for the season, we'll start out here with Charley. Give us one final Twitch update and your final thoughts on the season.
Just want to shout out to the champions, all the teams, all the drivers. What a season. And thanks to all of you here at the broadcast team, Victor Vallee producing, Josh Mertz and Mike Berry on the call. And of course you, Chad, for stepping in when we need extra power in the booth. This has been a heck of a good time, and I'm super pumped to be a part of it. So thanks for letting me get on the mic with you guys every week.
And what about in Twitch land? Anything else going on over there?
Twitch who? No, but honestly, the audience is honestly the best part. So thanks to all the regulars who show up every week, and it's been really awesome. And then right then, Gecko with 50 bits cheer. Thank you so much, Gecko. It's been awesome getting to know some of the regulars are coming back every week. Make sure you stick around, guys. If you haven't joined the Discord, join them both. We have 2 Discords running, and it's a great community. And I can't wait for the future of Nitro Circus Twitch. Speaking of that, real quick, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, Wednesday night is our next stream. That is the finale of the Rallycross Challenge, and I hope to see all of you there.
And Mike.
Yeah, I don't know what else I can really say here. We've had an incredible season, great championship battles, epic on-track action. And I can't wait to be back here next year, up in the booth again, just being all the audience's voice. I mean, stuttery voice, but voice regardless. So yeah, I just gotta I'm just gonna thank Josh for letting me have this opportunity. Thank you, Chad, for being the guy who originally actually brought me into this. Thank the viewers for watching, and I can pass it back over to Josh Mertz now, and he can give his wrap up here.
I think you're forgetting my final thoughts.
Yes,
yours too.
Yeah, we have to get Cube's final thoughts first.
Well, I've only been here for a couple races this season. I said I was going to take some time off, and I'll admit it was much needed, but back and rejuvenated and ready to go for next season. Otherwise, it's been so much fun watching these guys, whether it's people that I've known for years, like Ray and Matt and Christian and some of those guys, or people that I've never really seen before. I've known a couple of the guys throughout the field, whether it's Janny and Clog. I've seen them race before. David Bush, it's his first season here. Just watching everybody new and old kind of come in and come together and race very hard all season long. It's been so much fun to watch all of that, and to go along with that, just the way that this league has grown. We started out end of last year with just a very fun time with a couple of guys just kind of trying to expand our Rallycross league, and from there we've turned it into this fantastic partnership with Nitro Circus and Charley and everybody over there, and it's been so much fun watching that. So look forward to seeing where that partnership takes us, and I, for one, cannot wait to see what happens with next season, just because of how much fun this 2021 and season 2 has gone. So definitely can't wait for any of that. And I'm sure, Josh, as we wrap things up here, man, we're just all about to go on vacation, get ourselves some Krispy Kremes before we start Wednesday with a great finale for Rallycross.
As Krispy Kremes really do sound good, but I think they're closed when I'm going to get off work tomorrow, so that's tragic. From all of us here at North American Simulated Auto Racing, Nitro, Circus, and the Automotive Sports Network, I have to echo all of the statements that have been said from everyone here on the team. Once again, to bring up the fact, aside from the GT series, this was started 9 years ago just as a fun race for the Rallycross series, and we've expanded to 2 series that are successfully going. We've got partnerships across the board: Sim Racer Coin, Penguin RC, iDrive Sim Training, KES Industries, Ferris Shifters, Sim Racer Coin. I think I repeated myself, but just so many partners, Nitro Circus, so many partners, people, entities, everything that it's involved to keep this machine oiled and running. Like Charley Daniels mentioned, a programming note, the final programming note of the 2021B NASA season, iDrive Sim Training Sonoma special from the Sonoma Raceway for the Sim Racer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, presented by Nitro Circus. You'll join myself and Cody Erdman in the commentary cube, but you'll have the pre-race show, I think, with Charley Daniels and Victor Vallee, and maybe Chad Irvine. We'll have to see how that goes. But from all of us at North American Simulated Auto Racing, Nitro Circus, and the Automotive Sports Network, I hope you enjoyed personally. I hope you enjoyed this season, and we hope to see you Wednesday to wrap up the 2021B season in style. But until then, so long, everyone.